So I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun.
I don't know, he said that he's picking up some stuff, but he hasn't told us what he's going to cook. He seems to be very well versed in the kitchen.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you doing? Good to see you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Okay, look, my mother has one of the best places on earth, that's Dalesford, but this is just kind of my little gem, and it's a little gem near my house. So, fruit and veg, it's a proper fruit and veg place, and that's what I love, but they just have some of the best things. So, like, I'm advertising, but look at these. All from Japan.
Wow.
How cool is that?
You know that in Serbian, tomatoes are called paradise because they're so tasty.
Great produce comes from mushrooms. They celebrate mushrooms. They celebrate each thing, and that's why I like here, because it's a delight. So I'm going to get some wild garlic, some basil.
Okay.
Because those are the final things I want to do. I thought I'd make some pasta for you today.
Okay, so we were debating what you're going to cook.
What kind of pasta?
Okay.
We're just...
Let's see if we can get some things in here. There we go, that's what we need. We need some wild garlic. How cool is that? So, pasta. I feel like I need to kind of say this at my kitchen table, but I want to make you the meal that my wife fell in love with me.
Wow, okay.
I don't know if she fell in love with me, but she did tell me when I said I was going to make it, she was just like, this is what I'm going to do. So, I'm just trying to think of anything else we need. We need some nice parmesan. But look at this as a fruit and veg.
It's so aesthetic.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And it's so well curated.
Well, that's the thing. The team here are amazing. What they do here is amazing. I'm sounding like I'm advertising them, but just everything in here, you kind of want to go and say, okay.
But that's what you want. You want somebody that knows the ingredients, that puts the time and effort into picking the best of the best. And all you have to do is just come and indulge, right? What a beautiful house, George.
Oh, thank you.
It's stunning. So many photographs. I know you're a photographer, right? I mean,
Yeah, so when I was a full-time photographer, I'd put a percentage of my wage to buying photographs. So anytime I got paid by a client, I'd put it into buying photographs.
Welcome to Time to Taste. I'm Lara Poppy, and this is my co-host, Dylan Batt.
Hey guys, we have an incredible episode with an incredible guest, and we're just so humbled and grateful that George has invited us into his beautiful home. So, George, thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Yet again.
I have to kiss, I have to shake, I have to... Thank you very much, and I'm so pleased you're in my kitchen. This is amazing.
We're hungry, and we've been so curious as to what you're going to have on the menu for us today. So,
I want to do a prawn cocktail.
Okay.
We're in Britain, but I'm kind of wanting to do a bit of an elevated prawn cocktail, so I thought maybe throw some lobster and a few other little things in there. We're going to do a bit of a family style on that. And then I made some pasta dough last night, so I'm going to make some ravioli today.
Amazing.
With a homemade kind of wild garlic and basil. We saw some wonderful wild garlic and basil. So I'm going to do a wild garlic and basil kind of like filling with a little quail's egg in it. So if it comes off right, it's going to be absolutely amazing. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. But hopefully we'll have some fun doing it.
Fantastic. So what's the first step?
Because I've done the pasta already here, I think I can put the prawns in already.
Well, you've got 2 extra set of hands, so...
Perfect. Do we need to put aprons on?
we've got the aprons.
We do.
Yeah, let's put aprons on.
You've got the blue apron, and that matches phenomenally well with this beautiful gem. And I think this is it's one of your new watches.
It is.
Releases,
It's
right?
one of my new releases. It's the Girard-Perregaux Deep Diver. I love the Deep Diver. The original one was one of those things that everyone asked what would be my next watch if I could do one with Girard-Perregaux, and this was it. It was 3 years in making, and we started off with other watches. If you think of the progression that we did the Casquette, before that we did the Laureate Ghost that I've got to show you today, and then we did a Casquette for Only Watch, and then this was the third. So if we look at the Holy Trinity of the three, this is the third one. They really elevated every element of it. And the other thing is, I love that I can change the strap very easily, and it's got this amazing rubber strap.
It's got a quick release, right?
Quick release. But not a fancy quick release. It's just got a spring bar.
Yeah.
And that is one of my adamant, I'm adamant on watches having to be simple. You don't need a rocket degree to change the strap.
Absolutely.
Come on, why?
Yeah.
Just one simple spring bar. And, I was talking to my son's friends, and all of them strap hack. They all, they watch other great YouTube channels like Bark and Jack and look at his straps and all those things, and they love changing their straps. So I was like, we have to have something that you can change your strap. And so you take 2 straps to the beach, and blue for me is amazing. But when you put the orange on, it looks like an orange watch.
Yeah,
but it looks like a blue watch.
Absolutely, it changes the aesthetic, the vibe. If you want to tone it down, then that's it.
What have you got on?
So today, the reason I'm wearing this is
hello.
it's actually my newest release. So I haven't actually told anybody, but this is my latest pickup. It's a FP Jaune automatique. So it's the AN reference. It's the newer version, but still with the same 1300 movement in the 40mm case. And then this is technically, I want to say like an off-catalog piece, because it usually comes with rose gold with a salmon dial or a pink dial, and then it comes in platinum with a grey dial. And they don't do a rose gold with the grey. And
so you hacked it, basically.
I did the strap hack on the dial. I did the dial
yeah,
hack.
you did a major hack. It was kind of like, you're like, I'm talking about strap hacking, and you're like going, yeah, I just changed the dial around. I'm like, okay.
So they do it, but I think it's on request. And I was very fortunate to get that. So
I have to say that I'm very impressed with how the color matching here and the color matching between the blue and the fawn. I've got my mom's 2000s G12. It's white ceramic. It's, honestly, the easiest watch to wear.
Cool.
And especially when I come to London, I feel like I want to play it down a little bit. So,
I love how you say, I want to play it down, and you just go big boy. It's kind of like, I also love white ceramic. I love white ceramic because
so
I think it's such a great colour. And also, a lot of people go, a lot of men go, I can't wear white ceramic. Yes, you can. It looks so amazing on a man's wrist.
I think that to me, the tan that you've got on makes or breaks the watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in winter, I have a harder time pulling it off than I do in summer. But now, I want to know how to
But it makes
do
you
a little
smile. When you look down on a watch, it has to make you smile.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I organize events for a living, and this doesn't scratch. It's super handy, and I always have it a little loose. Just so I can move around. I'm not worried
Chanel went
about
crazy
my watch.
this year. I saw at Watches and Wonders what they did and projected the entire, the J12 on the side of the building, which was incredible.
So we're going to get you into cooking, because I know we've just chatted about watches. So I'm going to put some more prawns in. So they're going to go like that.
I have to say that on social media, I think it's really cool the way that you've marketed this watch, especially on Instagram.
Honestly, we had fun doing it. Now, do you know how to make a Mary Rose sauce?
No.
Okay, we're going to make a Mary Rose sauce. So I'm going to give you a chopping board here. There's some big knives there if you want.
That's a big knife.
Do you want a long, thin one?
No, that's perfect.
Okay, so what I'd love you to do is, I just want it's tight, like little slices of lettuce. So, and then we're going to make a Mary Rose sauce. So I'm just going to get some mayonnaise, some tomato ketchup, and some paprika. So that's how easy a Mary Rose sauce is. Okay,
So do you cook often? Is it?
I love cooking. It is my, what would I best describe it? It's my peace. So I love, if I'm not making bread, I'm making pasta. If I'm not making that, I'll go and drive a car. It's when, like, if you have a stressed out day, those are the things where I'm just like, hey, either I can provide to the family and do something, or I can make something unique. So, like, I was kind of contemplating what to make for you today, and I spoke to my kids and I said, what should I make? And one of them said, you should make a bolonaise, and then another one said, you've got to make your Marmite bread, and there's some things that, and I was just like, no, we'll do something really kind of like.
So what got you into cooking? I guess your mum is known for.
She is really known for it. I would say to you as my mother. I lived in Florence for 6 months and learnt from an amazing chef in Florence, and she taught me basically just to enjoy cooking and enjoy the idea of just, you can muck up.
You can kind of free flow, and you can figure it out as you go along, and that's the beauty of cooking.
Yeah.
And I think trying to replicate a recipe 2-3 times, you might not ever get the same result, and it's okay.
It really is okay. So what I'm going to do, or ask you to do, mayonnaise into here. Then we're going to put some tomato ketchup. That's how easy this is. It's a bit of
we thin enough?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And then bung it into this bowl here.
Perfect.
So tomato ketchup into there as well. Whisk it together. Put a bit of paprika.
Perfect.
And the sauce is done.
I just zhuzh.
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 Zhuzh. I like that. Zhuzh.
Zhuzh.
Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to break down the lobster. So I cooked this last night and just did a simple crack on it because I think you want a bit of a lobster claw and a bit of a lobster tail. I'm doing a bit of a luxury prawn cocktail.
Okay.
So it's not you need quite a lot more. This is family style, okay? You know, we're not here to kind of like mess
I'm an
around
only
with.
child, can you tell?
Yeah, we're not here to kind of be. This is about kind of enjoying each other and kind of putting a bit of love together on the plate. It's kind of. I can't believe I cracked that in the right place.
So who would be your role model chef? Do you have anybody that you really look up to, or?
Do you know? I would say to you is there's quite a few great, amazing chefs out there. There's a person that I just love his vibe. Is a guy called Tom Kitchen. He's based up in Scotland. He loves the produce. He loves, you know, so he cares about every element. And that for me is one of those things that it's the caring of the food. It's what I also say about people. Jesus Christ, you're amazing at chopping that. That's beautiful. So just give me 1 second. I'm just going to have a quick look at these. Perfect. These are done as well. Okay, they've just got to cool down. Let that cool off.
See, I'm known in my family as the messy chef.
Are you?
What?
No, I am. I make a mess everywhere, but you are tidying up after yourself. So
I've learned to.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Do you want to taste test?
Well, okay. Let's do that.
So it's a mix of paprika, mayonnaise, and ketchup.
Ketchup. And a little bit of salt and pepper.
What's the difference between this and a Thousand Island? Or is this?
This is kind of the similar.
This is the elevated name.
But the prawn cocktail is a very English thing. So I just thought, actually, we've got to do this. You know, it's served at Scott's. It's served at some of the best English restaurants. And I always love the idea of this because when you're doing a dinner party or you're doing something, everyone goes, "Oh my God, it's a prawn cocktail." And in some ways, we kind of jokingly say, "Oh, it's a prawn cocktail," but you actually realise. You go, thank goodness you're doing something that we all like.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of doing something fancy that some people go, really? So that's my 2 seconds on it. So, okay, so a bit of a dressing. I don't know how you guys were feeling, but what I'd love to do is take off shell from the end of it. You can leave the heads on because they'll look quite nice when we're decorating. Normally I'm cooking with my daughter and it's like, she is an amazing chef, so it's kind of...
I usually do this with a knife and fork.
Do your children want to kind of follow in your footsteps?
Yes and no. I think my son, I would hope would. That's my older son. You build a business for someone to take over,
especially when it's got your name on it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think my son probably would actually accelerate my business more than I have. My daughter, yes, but she probably would be a chef or something like that because she is amazing cooking. She is like ultimate cook, and so for me that's kind of. But whatever they're going to do, I say in life, and I say to them a lot in life, do 100%.
Yeah.
So don't kind of muck around, and saying, I feel sorry for my life or whatever. Go and enjoy your life, but also do everything at 100%. If you want to. Go and be, anything in life, go and be the best.
Well, I think, what we see within, the younger generation is that there's so many opportunities and perhaps it's even more difficult for them to kind of choose that path because they're so exposed to, different ways or different professions today, things that weren't even existing 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That perhaps it can become almost slightly overwhelming.
There's too many options in front of them. I agree. The other thing, and this is something that I'm just going to get into the bin here. Sorry. The other thing I would say is when you're looking, you know, the mobile phone destroys people's worlds in some ways and accelerates their world. So you think about, you know, what we're doing on YouTube and you know, it's absolutely amazing because it's creating new content.
Absolutely.
We're creating and something else for information, but to those kids, they're just like, oh my God, I can do this, I can do this. And in some ways, you almost got to go, what actually do I want to do?
Yeah, what do you enjoy?
What makes, and that's what I'm very lucky, maybe with age, is I've been able to go, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my world, and I'm very fortunate that other brands like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you've built a fan following. I mean, it's almost a cult, what you've created. And I think it's quite rewarding in the sense that, you know, people do appreciate what you do and like really love it. I think that's one of the nicest things about, you know, producing something today.
Well, that, do you know, it's when, and it happened this morning. There was a sale, and I always love this. When I get a sale in Australia, or when I get a sale in somewhere else in the world of a watch, I'm like, they don't know me.
Yeah.
They don't. I haven't got on greeting. There's no connection apart from they like the design.
Exactly.
They may like the story of the brand, but really they don't know me as well as, you know, you or I, or, you know, or quite a lot of the other watch community I've never met, and they're buying from me, and I'm like, that for me is something so freaking cool. Or it happened to me. I've just been in Japan and China, and on the flight back there was someone wearing a Bremont.
Oh,
and
wow.
And I just went, and it was one of my, and I was just like,
that is the coolest
I was
thing.
like, oh, you know, and I was speechless. Wow. Professional.
This is very strict parenting.
Are we supposed to keep the heads on?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's...
Why am I supposed to keep the head on?
That's what George said.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but it looks a lot better. So,
I kept
so-
the tails on. I just did it the way that we did it at home. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can screw them back on.
No, we definitely can't. But,
It's a bit like when a crown falls off of your watch. You can just screw it back on.
that happened
Okay.
when I was showing the diver watch. So I was showing it to my vintage one to some journalists in London. And they're like, oh yeah, the bezel turns, and I was like, yeah, great. And they went, bezel, oh, and the crowd had come out, and I was like, oh,
Oh.
you know, it was like almost like that Scooby Doo, like, oh, you know. I was like, okay.
Talking about Scooby-Doo, and you love these animated figures.
Oh, yes.
It's more Snoopy than Scooby, right?
Look, I love Snoopy. You know, when you came into my house, I've got a full-size Snoopy. I have my original Snoopy when I was born, was put in my cot, and it's up in my bedroom here.
Amazing.
And he was the same size as me. So he's been with me through all my life.
Same size as you are now.
He was when I was in the cot, he was the same size as me. And, you know, his head's fallen off, and he's, you know, school wasn't very nice to him, and you know, anyway. But what I would say to you is, it was absolutely amazing, because if you think of Snoopy, you can never be angry. You can never be like, you know, you think about saying Snoopy, and you're always smiling. You're always going, oh, Snoopy. You know, it gives a smile. It's one of those characters that there is no hatred. There's no, I don't know, controversy. Snoopy is such a great positive figure.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Snoopy. So I you know, I've done quite a few character watches, and I've, you know, I did the Hypebeast one. I've done Frank Muller ones, and I love Snoopy. So it's kind of one of those things that I'm like, just gotta wait for these to cool down. Okay, so we're gonna get on to chopping.
Perfect. So it's what type? It's a ravioli.
Ravioli. So what we're doing is, I've made a little bit of the pesto, but I would want to add just a bit more. So I've got some basil in here, some garlic. Absolutely amazing. I mean, we saw that earlier, but the wild garlic is absolutely amazing. Some nice basil, and then I thought I saw these sun-dried tomatoes there, and I love the sun-dried tomatoes. It gives that more meaty taste without giving you the meaty taste.
Absolutely.
And I think that mastication satisfaction, I love that word, but it gives you that little crunch and little thing. So I'm going to do that in a little bit of the top of this ravioli.
Sounds good.
Is that right?
Mastication satisfaction or masturbation satisfaction with your...
Oh, no, this is a joke that you'd have to
this is
take.
where I exit the chat.
Okay.
This is where we take time out.
So what I would love is, that's some amazing basil. I mean, if you smell that basil, it's unreal. And I love fresh basil, I think, and this is so...
Oh,
isn't that gorgeous? And then wild garlic. So I've started chopping, but if you can carry on chopping some wild garlic for me.
does it have those little seeds as well?
No, this is just raw wild garlic. Look at that. That is amazing.
Yeah,
and the smell from wild garlic is unreal. But I've just done a bit of that. Then I want to add it into this little bit of pesto. We're going to put a bit more olive oil into there. That's going to create a nice little nest for the egg to sit in. And then I've got the water boiling. I've also thought to myself is, because I wanted to be a bit more fancy because it's you guys, I'm going to do a Parmesan crisp just for the top of it. This is the first time I've done a Parmesan crisp, so I'm going to either really ruin it or do it absolutely amazing.
But we love a challenge.
So that's what I'm kind of loving, is to do something where I'll either screw it up or I won't. So that's my thing. But if we can chop the wild garlic, rip the basil, put the basil ripped and the wild garlic in there, and then if possible, grab another knife, chop up some of that, and then we're going to have a frying pan with some of the things on it.
Sounds good.
Is that cool?
Let's do it. Oh, well, what do you want to take on?
Well, you're chopping,
I'm
master,
chopping.
and I can shred.
Now, does all the other people that you've done interviews with get you to do loads of stuff?
So either we're cooking for them,
Oh,
or
really?
they cook for us. It really varies. So the whole point of the show is to be in a setting that's decomplexed or décomplexifié in French, but that is not complicated and is homey and familiar.
Yeah.
And you know, the same way you'd invite your friend to come a bit earlier at the dinner party to help you out, to have a nice chat. This is what we're aiming for. So whatever the guest feels most comfortable with is what we roll with.
Oh, I love that.
But it's nice to discover how many collectors and how many people in the industry are
Avid, like cooking, yeah, chefs and
Cooks.
cookers and cooks. That's the right word.
Yeah, but
it's like Jim Carr's a sailor. Did you
but
see
that's
this?
what you want,
Temple
isn't it?
Waterman.
You want that. This is. I always love the Italians on this, because when you look at Italians and cooking, you know, they and the same with Mexicans as well. That wild garlic, doesn't it smell
It's just
delicious?
so fragrant.
It's
It's
so
not from
nice. You know, I can smell it from here. That's what I wanted for this, is to give you that other taste. But you think about the Italians, you think about, they live on this wonderful food. It's all about, you know, the food and the love of food. Someone respects that produce.
Absolutely. The simplicity of it as
Yeah.
well. Don't ruin it,
No.
just enhance it.
Now that is a plethora of prawns, lobster. So I'm going to put that in the fridge just to keep it cool for later on. Shall we go and roll?
Yes, let's do it.
I'm very excited about that. And is this how you decide how
Yeah,
tight it's going to
so
be?
what you do is you have to start off on the thickest. So you start off on one, and then you go thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner.
Is this what you learned in Florence?
Yes. I'd love to say it was that. I thought I was going to learn Italian, and I dated an American. So it was kind of like, you know, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to date an Italian, I'm going to
This
learn.
is the best way to learn a
Yeah,
language.
is dating
Hands
someone,
down,
and then when they
absolutely.
swear at you, you know what's being said. But anyway, I was typical Brit, and I met an American, and we,
It is even more eat, pray, love.
yeah, maybe. My wife and it was just, I was like, oh, let me cook for you one night, and I think this was the one that kind of. So we were dating, and she was like, you can't cook. And I was like, well, let me do something. And I spent what I could describe as half the day thinking, fuck, what do I do? How do I do it? Oh my God. And anyway, so I thought this was my kind of, my way of kind of counterbalancing that. And my only concern about this one is it's a little bit dry, so I'm just trying to...
Do you make your pasta with semolina, or is it regular half and half? Or?
It's a half and half. It's a simple, and yes, I could do a semolina, but a half and half is quite it's easy. So I have brought some watches out because I thought this is going to be the most boring part of the filming. So I just thought if you wanted to kind of go through some of the watches, you tell me.
Wow.
So, and then you can ask me some questions, and you've got me stuck in one place, so I can't kind of run around and go, oh!
Do you want me to do that?
I'm fine at kind of like, so pick the watches off and tell me.
So we'll start with the G-Shock because...
Oh, G-Shock, it is so freaking cool. Look.
You got it?
Yeah.
Talk to any collector. If they haven't got a G-Shock in their collection, I'm kind of going, well, you're not truly a watch collector.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have one. Now I'm going to...
No. So my collecting journey started with the G-Shock.
Okay, good. So, and the reason why I say about a G-Shock is because you have to, what that did to the watch world, what it's done since, the cult status of a G-Shock is absolutely amazing. That was my first G-Shock with G-Shock, or with Casio. And there is another one coming sometime soon. But I've got two that have been out now. That for me is unreal. When we started off as doing that, the collector nature of it and what it's doing on eBay at the moment, I could not believe.
It's crazy.
And from its original price to that, it's kind of like better than most watches. And I can't believe, and and then the second one as well.
So tell me about the blue. I mean, that's really your signature color,
Bamford
right?
Aqua Blue, and the second one we closed down Carnaby Street. So there was a queue that was around the block.
Wow.
And the police had to shut down Carnaby Street because people were trying to break into Casio. And I had my kids and me in the basement, and the police had to escort us out at the end. Because we had people sleeping for 2 nights before to get it.
That's wild. When was this?
This was 2 years ago.
Crazy.
But the last one sold out in 90 seconds.
Crazy.
It was kind of unreal. But look, for me, I love G-Shock. I loved doing our Bamford Aqua Blue. When they asked me to do it, it was an honour.
Well, I mean, it's really that kind of the gateway into collecting.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's kind of getting people used to having something on their wrist.
Yeah.
And then that kind of just takes them, once they're used to that, and then it's a downward spiral.
Credit where credit's due. Look at what Swatch has done with Omega.
Yeah.
Or the Blancpain. When you look at those, they are amazing what they've done.
But nothing replaces the sound of a Casio,
no.
like at the back of the class.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's cool.
I'm curious about the white ceramic.
Oh, because you're wearing a white ceramic
Because
watch.
I'm wearing a white ceramic.
So this was my first project, really, for Girard-Perregaux. It wasn't my first thing I did with Girard-Perregaux because I did Cat's Eye for a client, and that's how I got into Girard-Perregaux. And then I spoke to them, and they said, "Oh, the Laureato. We'd love to do something on the Laureato." And I was like, for me, I want a white ceramic watch. And so we called it the Ghost, and we did a whole campaign around it. And I just love what it symbolises. But that's another one that I was at the F1 in Singapore, and a person came up to me and he said, "George, I've just brought your from auction. I've just brought your Laureato Ghost." And I was like, "What? Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he showed me the auction, and I couldn't believe he was bidding against me for the watch because I was trying to get another one.
Oh no way!
and I said to him, "So really?" And because we only had, my wife's got one, I've got one, but it was a small number, and it was very special.
That's impressive.
It's very light as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's honestly, this watch in summer is just perfect.
And it really stands out without being
And it's a great size.
too much.
So tell me, how did the Bamford journey start, right? So you were customizing watches
Yes.
initially, and that was a time where there was a lot of other customizers. It was quite
Yeah.
popular, right? I think there was Titan, there was
Yeah.
a few others. So what separated Bamford from everybody else? And like, how did you get to where you are now, where a lot of other brands have kind of faded out?
Well, we could get on to another watch because I was very lucky. So if we go for the Tag Heuer Monaco that's there, I was very lucky to have met Jean-Claude Biver. He said to me, "You're the punk," and that was Thierry Stern. And I met him when I was customizing watches. And he said, "Don't do it to my watch." And I was like, "Oh crap!" But-
Thierry said.
Yeah, but what was interesting is he said, "You're a punk." It made me realise that the watch industry doesn't want something like that. My whole premise of my business was personalisation. That was the only premise of the business. It wasn't to do anything else but make it personal. I wanted people to have their individual watch created for them, and that's how my business started out. It wasn't, "Oh, I'm going to make, I'm going to annoy this person, or I'm going to do it like this." So, what's your favourite to make food?
So I love to grill.
Oh, yes.
I think growing up in Cyprus, we grew up around a barbecue. Grilled meats, grilled vegetables, and just kind of expressing, different ways of doing grilling, whether that's on charcoal or on wood. But then I also love cooking pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's winter and you're there and just, putting a big bowl of pasta on a table is just the best thing. And
You can't beat it.
So I try to do my ragu for 8 hours. The summer, then it's like a seafood, a bisque, and you make that and like loads of prawns and stuff like that. So just the simplicity of it. But yeah, that's kind of where I am with that.
No, this is where I screw up. I really do
This is
screw
where
up.
quail pops out.
Sometimes I really do muck this up, and other times I don't. Ah, perfect. There we go. I'm going to chuck that over there. There we go.
So is it just the yolk you use,
No,
or are you
little-
using the whole egg?
I'm using a little bit of the egg. The pressure is more because you know all about pasta now. That's what's scaring me. It's like, oh my freaking God, he knows all about pasta.
Listen, if it got your wife, I'm sure we're in very good hands.
But that was when I was cooking like every week.
So do you cook often now, or is it just
I do, but it's weekends only.
it's weekends?
And
I mean, honestly, this looks great. I actually probably go back and try and replicate this recipe.
it's, well, if it's nice.
I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
If it's nice.
We
that's-
definitely won't tell you if it's not.
I haven't talked about watches too much. I'm sorry.
No, worries. You're very focused.
You talked about me being, or let's say I was the punk.
Yeah.
So let's. That watch changed the trajectory or trajectory of my business. Was the carbon Monaco.
It's carbon.
And it's a legendary one, and that's where, I love how it's been done. It's forged carbon. It was, and we were at Basel Watch World,
Yeah.
and I was on stage with Jean-Claude Biver, and it was truly spectacular to be standing on stage and we launched this watch. It was what I would describe as a truly spectacular day. But that watch, and why I love that watch so much, and it's bizarre to say it, that's the prototype.
Oh,
So it
interesting.
says XXX on the back. They put that watch on my wrist for the launch of the watch, and then I left for the airport. And I got a phone call when I was on the plane saying, "George, we can't find the watch." And I went, no, it's on my wrist. I thought you'd given it to me. And they're like, no, it's a prototype. And anyway, so they've now said it's mine.
So in essence, if you want something, just take it. And
No,
is that what you're
No.
saying?
Lesson learned.
I am definitely not saying that. But what I would say, so I have this. There is a Japanese saying, "Doki doki."
Okay.
It's about connection to to the heart. It's something that you go, oh my God, I need that in my life. I used to say, God, I want to steal it, but I live in London, so that's not a very good thing to do. I love the watch so much. And there was details about that watch that when we were in the design phase, it was things that were absolutely amazing. The aqua blue on the crown, how they've done the edging on the case. There was things that I wasn't imagining they were going to do. And what's interesting, it hasn't been done since.
Interesting.
So that's for me is, yes, they've done it with other of their, but they haven't done this since. And you know, Taikori, if you're listening, I'd love to do another one of those. I honestly, I love that watch. So we've done 4, so hopefully 3 will work.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
Shall we? I hear you're also an avid Formula One
Yes.
enthusiast. Or
I love Formula One. How can you not love Formula One?
do you have a favorite race?
Favorite race for me is Bahrain. One of my favorite races used to be was Malaysia.
Thank you.
I
Right.
loved Malaysia because I just thought it was one of the coolest tracks, and it was my first foray into F1, and so that's what. So I used to go there. People would say to me, "Oh, you know, what about the British Grand Prix, or what about this?" I think those ones were kind of like the ones that really, like Bahrain, I saw it from a day race to an evening race, and it's amazing to see the difference, the experience. There's some races I haven't done. I love Brazil. Brazil was amazing. Mexico was amazing. When you look at different racetracks, it's the spirit of the people.
Right.
You know, in Japan, when you go to Suzuka, the people there are some of the most amazing people that really care about racing. Some races, it's about the entertainment. It's not about the racing. So for me, that's the difference. So do start.
Well, it's time to taste.
Time to boom.
Bon appetit.
So this is joint. This is a everyone effort. So
It was really good.
simple. Simple but delicious.
I was wondering, especially since you do customization and you make very individualistic products, what do you think, how would you define luxury today?
That's a really, really good question. Quite a big question, because where I look at luxury at the moment is it's trying to find its way again. And that's my personal take. Is I look at certain luxury brands. I look at how they're doing it, how they're let's say how they're twisting what they're saying is luxury. I think Hermes is killing it. I think if you look at it as a brand, they have kept to their metronome of their business. They are pure luxury. But you know, some brands talk about being luxury. Hermes is online. You know, you can buy Hermes online, and some luxury brands are like, "Wow, we're too luxury that we can't be online." You know, each brand is trying to do the thing. But you look at one of the major ones, and that's Hermes. You look at Chanel. Both of them have done some amazing things. They're in boutiques. You go into an Hermes boutique and you go, it's better than home. So that's where I think there's brands that have got this play on it. And you know, I think Hermes is one of those. Even if you look at how it translates through their watches, you look at their stand that they did at Watches and Wonders this year was unreal.
The scenography
Beautiful.
is just...
You know, everything, every little
attention to
detail, you go, wow. Same with Van Cleef. I look at those two stands and I'm like, wow. I will also say to you is looking at, Chris Granger and IWC, every year they come with something new, something special, something amazing. And their boutiques, you know, I designed my office on a boutique of IWC. It was a Singapore boutique. because I felt like this felt like such an amazing space. It felt like a space you'd want to go and hang out in. And I think that's been very clever on those brands. So in the watch world, I think some people that are doing some good things. I think there's been a massive greedflation. And I think prices have gone up way too much. And I hear a lot of people saying that, and I also hear it myself. There's certain things where you go, oh, why?
Well, I think that there's a misunderstanding sometimes with luxury. Some people believe that price tag means luxury, and that kind of exclusion to me isn't luxury. What you showed with the G-Shock, for example, that is luxury because it's accessible only to the few who really care.
Yeah.
And it's effort and knowledge that allows for accessibility and not necessarily price tag.
I agree. There's a New Balance trainer that's just coming out, and anyway, it was a very clever way because you have to sign on to them, you have to be part of the community, you have to love the brand before you do it. I'm not a New Balance fan, but this one I was like, oh, I want one of those, but I'm not a fan. I've not got one pair because I'm a Nike person. So it was one of those things. I'm excluded. I'm not a part of that.
It rewards
the community that loves them.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think, if you look at it, the brands, have to understand that and love that community.
No, absolutely. I think coming back to your point where you talk about, their online experience with Hermes, what they've actually been able to do is translate their entire experience online. Okay, you might not be able to buy a Birkin and a Kelly there, but you go on and the design of the website, the way that you interact with it, it's seamless.
Simple as well.
Simple.
It's simple and easy, and it works for my phone. Oh yeah.
It's really good. You get the wild garlic. It's pungent but not too strong. It's aromatic. And the tomatoes, the lemon zest. Oh, it's a home run.
Actually.
So are you free this weekend?
I know we've talked about F1, we've talked about loads of different things. Should I talk a bit about watch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's segue back in.
I'm very curious about this big box, and we've got a few watch rolls.
I think there's a piece that will link us.
Yeah.
So
you've been curious about
I have.
this
I've
specific
done
piece, so I'll let you lead.
So, shall I take the plates away? And then, oh, no, you're still eating. I'm pleased. Okay, perfect. I'll move mine to the side. So what would you like to, where would you like to go?
So I did tinker around, and I believe this watch specifically has a lot of sentimental value.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to actually ask you to have a look at it.
Okay.
And take a look around it. Don't say what's said on the back, but look at the case back, look at the lugs, look at the hands.
No, the hands one upside down or something.
No, but when you look at every element of this watch, if you got given that, like if you went to a vintage dealer, would you go and go, oh yeah, this is perfect condition?
No, far from it. I think this is a well-loved, used, not necessarily abused, but well-loved watch. It looks like it's been opened a few times.
And would you think it was opened very well? Or do you think it's someone that's got very fat fingers?
Let me look at your finger.
Okay, you know the story. Okay, basically this was, I don't know what the date says, 1996 I think it is, or 1995?
96.
96. So my parents gave this to me for my birthday or Christmas. And Boxing Day I had it in pieces. And I had a penknife and I had a glass of screwdriver. That's all I had. And I had a towel in my bedroom and I took it to pieces. Now I'm highly dyslexic, so I do everything by learning with my eyes. That's why I collect watches, certain watches, because I want to learn the shape of the case. I want to feel this watch. So when we're talking about, you and I chatted off screen about what's the ultimate collection, how many and what's not. For me, it's about learning I can go down a whole rabbit hole of Seikos, a whole rabbit hole of Breitlings, a whole rabbit hole of these different things because I want to learn. I want to learn what makes it tick. I want to learn. Now I've got amazing watchmakers that work for me, so I can ask them to strip it and show me the interior. But when I was a kid, my only way of learning, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't any of these things. So my way of learning was taking things to bits. So I used to take VCR, so that is kind of like the old YouTube things. Those are those cassettes.
Yeah.
I'm explaining to someone on YouTube, but I used to take them to bits and make them faster. I'd make a juicer faster, and then it would burn out the motor. And I learned how to weld at 8. So I was one of those people that I wanted to learn. So my parents thought, great, we're going to give him a watch. I'm going to get him. So this is my first serious watch. And my parents were like, just be gentle with it. And in Boxing Day, they saw it all
Wow.
in bits. And then
And you managed to put it...
2 days later, I'd put it back together. And,
Shove the screwdriver in there.
So when you go like this and you put everything out, now I put it back together, but there was a few still parts on the towel, so I didn't put it back together 100%. This has been back to Breitling probably about 8 or 9 times. The hands are bent, the glass is broken. Even during COVID, I was showing my son how to take a watch to bits, and I did it again. And I love this watch, and it's one that would never leave the collection. And it would be something I would miss because it was my first lightning bolt of like, wow, I love, or lightning bulb of wow, I love watches. Because I love this little mechanical kind of gem, this heart that beats inside there. And I love this Navitime. I just thought the Navitime was such a cool watch.
It's incredible, and it's 30 years next year, right? And it tells a story. It tells the journey it's been with you. And I think what's so fascinating is that you then reiterate that story to your children, and hopefully that will be a passion that they really take up and as enthusiastic about it as you.
So my son and I are designing a watch at the moment. Just 3 years ago, he designed an idea of this kind of skeletonized case and skeletonized thing. So we're now on that progression. It's still not right because we're using new materials and new ideas. But for me, I feel like it's full circle because during COVID we were learning together.
That's so beautiful.
But the biggest problem was I kept on doing FaceTimes with, or what I would say, Teams with my watchmakers. How do I do this? What's happening on this? Because I've lost that ability as much as I wished I hadn't. I've lost that ability to a degree of like releasing the stem and doing those things. I forgot. Mm-hmm. So I had to take him through, and we're learning together. And I did the same with I got an MG engine. We took that to bits and rebuilt it. We built a car together during COVID as well because I was like, we have to be practical. We have to understand something. So that was my. Mm-hmm. But you can see all the dents, the cracks, the bangs. This was, even changing the strap. If you look at how many scrapes are in there. If you were given this by a dealer, you'd be like, oh my God, this is, unless it was someone famous, you would have gone, this is, it's not a Marlon Brando watch, but it looks like it.
No, I'm not letting you near any of my watches.
That's what the watchmakers say as well. So it's...
no, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this. It's been...
Well, I thought that was a kind of a cool piece to show you. I don't know what else you've got there. Oh, you've got the Toldaro, and then you've got the...
Well, I wanted to ask you about this, and then necessarily progress to that.
Okay, perfect.
So, this was...
I know it sounds strange. If you like watches and love watches, you've got to respect the digital movement and the quartz movement. You have to. And you have to understand it. A lot of people turn their nose up at it, and they go, "Oh, we don't think we don't like that because it's quartz, or we don't like that because of this."
Florent Marie is really fighting that.
Yeah. There is quite a lot of brands that are now saying, "Well, actually, why?"
Quartz can be cool,
but it's not that. You think about what the quartz industry did when it came out. It decimated the watch world. Totally decimated the watch world. And you have to respect what it did. Yeah. It was talking about, a watch was talking about being accurate, and then they came out with something that was more accurate than anything else.
Yep.
And then you think about the Beta 21 movements, and you think about all the different movements that had happened. I love the quartz because you have to respect that something that totally dislodged that world. It's like what Tesla has done to the automotive world. And now they're trying to figure their way out, and they're going to come back with whatever. But Tesla said electric is going to be the future. Same with quartz. And Japan came in and really decimated them. Now that's when I look at these watches, and in my collection I've got quite a few quartz watches. And yes, they're a pain in the arse. Some of them are a massive pain in the arse because you're like, especially when they're LCD type displays, because those displays you have to be very careful with. But things like the Omega Speedmaster with the quartz movement and the LCD display, I love those watches. I love that type of watch. I think the pinnacle of it is the Cascade. I love the Cascade because I think it is, even the shape of it, what it does.
It's just so sleek and it's thought out.
But even like on this bracelet, and when you think about certain designers, even in the watch world, you look at Max Buser and people like that, and what MBAF has done. There is homage to some of these designs. I'm not saying it's but this type of design. Yep. GP did such a great thing, and what they did with their logoing and how it was, and how even the chamfered back edge so you could see it. The LCD annoys me because the battery, every time I put a new battery in, it just goes. But it doesn't matter, I don't care. This was one of those pieces that you go, this is an icon. And we talk about iconic watches. This is one of those icons. And I just love what this watch embodies. But then it also embodies quartz. It embodies, this was you think about what even Rolex did at that time.
Yeah, with the oyster quartz.
Yeah. You think about the television Patek.
Absolutely.
These companies did some wild, it pushed them to be in new worlds. You think of the Kentucky from Hoya. You think about, literally we can go, there's an IWCs that you just go, oh my God, weird. And they were highly expensive.
Yeah.
They were more expensive than their regular watch because it was accurate.
Am I right in saying that was coincided with the rise of Jean-Claude Biver and Blancpain, or am I wrong?
That was late, a little bit later.
Yeah.
But the quartz revolution was it was one.
Well,
of
it
those,
almost ended the industry.
I know that the whole region.
But it was the rise of the Swatch.
Yeah.
So Swatch came out, and that really kind of, and that's why we have to respect Hayek and the family, because what they did was. They did that idea of we will support our own community, but they were, you look at what Swatch did, it really was that forefront. But this watch was one of those things, and I got the honour after we'd done the Laureato Ghost. I got the honour. The GP went to me and said, "We're doing only watch, but we need a bit of help," and I went. How can I help you? I'm here to help. And they said, we'd love to do an only watch. Would you help us make it? We've got this is when we were going through it. They said we've got 8 weeks to create a watch. Can you do it? You talk the talk. We want you to walk the walk, George. So I was like. Okay. So I said, give me 2 weeks to assess if I can do it. And that was because I wanted to see if I can get the right sources, the right people to do it, the right everything. Because, you've got to, if I can walk the walk, I've got to really step up and do it. So I said to my team, I was just like, okay, how do we do it? What skills can we get? What skills do we need? What do we need to do this?
It's so impressive that you're able to assess that, and it shows that you've got a grounded company, in my opinion, because if you can trust your suppliers also to tell you whether or not they can do it.
Sometimes you can trust your suppliers. Sometimes I got a WhatsApp this morning and I was like, oh no! So, but this was predominantly UK based, so I knew we went to each one of them. We knew that what they could do. We knew their skill set, but I needed to know if they'd got the time.
Yeah.
Because that was all this was time sensitive, and a lot of people are time poor.
They know, I guess, 1.5 years in advance that they're going to partake in Only Watch.
But Gerard Perregaux just was like, I think it was because something had fallen through, so they were like, okay, we need a holy we need a holy hand grenade. What can we do? So anyway, we're like, great, casket. We're going to do the casket, and they're like, yeah, okay. And I said, I've got mine, and little did they know that in that 2 weeks I'd sent this off to a 3D scanner that does micro 3D scanning. So we scanned every element of this, so every little element. We knew we couldn't make the bracelet. That was one of those things that we knew we couldn't make that because that articulation would have been a pain in the ass. We could do it now with 3D printing, but I wouldn't, and we would have done it in another way. But we're like, how do we do it? So we 3D scanned every element of this, even the interior systems and how the quartz worked. And I went to Gerard Perregaux and I said, you guys need to do the movement. In Switzerland, you can find a very good quartz LCD company, and they were like, yep, we know, we're already down the road. Little did I know that they were bringing it back out, but anyway, so we were like, okay, let's do this. And I said, we've got to have a beautiful box because it needs to be at this price. So it was, I can't remember what it sold for, but it was a lot of money. So this is the prototype. This was the prototype of the box as well. I was like, I had to have it so it replicates the watch that I loved. Had to have that little GP logo. I loved how it was there. And it was just beautifully done, and you can see it's a prototype because there's hinges normally that take it all the way back. Because one of the requirements for us Only Watch is that one has to travel around the world to show people, and one was the actual watch. So this is the one that went around the world.
Interesting.
And we had more time to actually make the super duper one. So that's what we did. So this was the prototype, and I'm very pleased I've got the prototype.
I was about to ask, how did you also walk away with the prototype in your pocket?
No, what annoys me is someone's put not the right strap on it, so I'm sorry about that, and I know why they have, because it's one of my watchmakers have done that just because of today. It's not meant to have a buckle on it, but it was a leather crocodile strap, so it wasn't crocodile, but it was leather. Now, why I want you to have a look at this is, I don't know how your eyes are, but look at the case back of both of these.
So it says
Gerard Perregaux, La Chaux de Fonds, the reference number, one of 820 pieces. XXX.
So there is very similarities because when we were scanning them, we basically did exactly the same.
So it's a replica of this?
Identical.
Of this specific watch?
Identical of mine.
It's stunning.
That's crazy.
So if you feel the weight of it, and that's why I don't like the buckle on it, so I'm going to...
It's weightless.
So forged carbon with a titanium back, with their movement in.
That's crazy.
It's meant to be a driver's watch, right?
Yeah.
It's the perfect shape for it.
Do you wear it?
No, because the movement is the same movement.
Okay.
So it's not their new
It's not the new
So the new one, the one that was sold, has their new movement in.
I see.
So we had to get another one of these movements to put it in there.
I see.
And so the battery's always dead.
It's always dead. Okay.
So this lives in my office.
What a cool
and it's on display.
piece of history and such a cool story. And a beautiful object.
It's cool, isn't
It's
it?
just, it's very
I would love
sculptural,
to say I would wear it, but it is because I believe, because it's the prototype, it just should be in that prototype.
But also, sorry. I was just saying, you see the shape of the case very well with the black as well. I mean, it's very odd the way that, because usually black you don't see it as well, but in this case it's...
But that forged carbon looks absolutely amazing. So predominantly UK-based, actually it was UK-based people. What I would say to you is look to the Formula One world of supply chain. That was the easiest way to go because those guys can deal with things like that. And micro processing, so kind of like micro precision. And that's how we did it. But we're known, you know, we can do a personalised watch within 6 weeks. And that's, so our turnaround time is very good. And it's because I'm very, as you said, close to my supply chain, but it's also, I don't rely on other people. So with something like that, I scan the watch, and because when you're relying on someone for their 3D design of this watch or their template, most people won't give it, or they'll take ages to give it. So for me, I'd rather buy a watch, get it 3D scanned, and then start, because I'm 3-4 months ahead.
Yeah.
So what happens is a lot of companies are very slow at doing certain things because they have legalities and they have things to do. Where for me, because I have that, I believe, a startup mentality. I don't think it is startup. We've been going for 21 years, so it's not. But I have this mentality of going, well, why can't we do that? Let's do it. And we'll do it ourselves. Don't rely on anyone else.
Perfect. So one last question before we wrap up. How many is too many?
Oh, what a question. I would say to you is, everyone always asks me about my collection, says, you know, how many have you got? And I always say, not enough and too many. And I believe in life. You know, my wife was saying to me, oh, you know, one in, one out, or something like that. And each one has got a story. Each one has got a reason why did I buy that? What have I done with that? I could never say to you as too many or enough, because there's certain collections, I've seen some people's collections that have got tons and tons and tons of different watches. When you look at it, they're in depth on this or they're in depth on that. I think it's what makes you smile, you know, when you look at it. You know, there's no show ponies. You know, that's one thing I will say to you is, if you're wearing the watches, then that is perfect.
Yeah.
If you keep them in a safe and they live in a safe and you never wear that watch, then you should not ever have that watch. And that is my personal thing, because it's like, it's worth this and it's sitting in the safe.
Yeah.
You've got to experience experience it on your wrist. It's the same with a car. You've got to experience it and drive it, not live in a... It's not got to live in a garage. If it lives in a garage,
It breaks down.
then no, but it's not that. They don't. There's no love really for that. There's no. You haven't had any experience with it. You haven't had those. And that's why I love watches having dinks and dents and things, because they've experienced my life.
Yeah.
And that's where. So when you talk about numbers, you know, if someone had 300 watches, I'd go, okay, but do you wear them?
Yeah.
I know every single one of my watches. Yep, I wear them, and I experience them, and I love them. And it's the most bizarre thing, because my time is reduced down for when I'm wearing them. It's only weekends, because weekdays I will always want to wear one of my watches, and weekends I want to experience something else. I want to experience another designer. Or I want to experience a dial of this brand or whatever it is, and that's where. So my weekends are always the kind of the weird ones.
Great. Well, George, thank you so much for a wonderful meal. Thank you for having us in your beautiful home.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for having me on it. I'm like, this is amazing.
It's been so fun to speak with you, and you've got so much passion when you talk about cooking or driving or watches, and it's inspiring.
Well, thank you so much. I've loved it.